So now that we've explored various ways of adding atmosphere to an image, what I want to do is show you how you can use atmosphere when you actually composite an entire image of your own. And in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to take a car and we're going to take it from one environment, put it in an entirely different environment, and then we're going to really create the scene around this car using atmosphere and the things that we've learned in the previous lessons. So let's get started. All right, let's go to File, Open, and we're going to go to Lesson 9. We're going to start with this Aiden photo, and what we're going to do is basically put this car in an entirely new environment. So to do that, we have to cut the car out. So let's go ahead and make a copy of our background layer, zoom in here, and I think for this I'm going to use the pen tool. Now, there are parts down here that are a little bit dark, so what I might want to do is just add a layer that makes everything super bright, and I'm just going to toggle this on and off as I'm making my selection down here of the wheels so that I can see it a little bit better. All right, let's get started. We're going to go on our pen tool, make sure we're on path. You can make sure this is on combined shapes. And let's start. So in order to make a path, we're going to click and drag in the direction that we want our curve to be. Click, drag, click, drag, click, drag. Anytime I'm making a selection of an object that has curves, my default tool is the pen. That's because it's the one tool in Photoshop that allows you to make these very smooth curves that you have full control over. If I tried to do this with the lasso tool, it would look very jagged and hand done, whereas this looks it's a very nice tool to handle these complex curves. One nice thing about the pen as well is I can backtrack here at another point and then hold down Command and just move that point, all without going outside of the pen tool here. And then I can just click here and keep going. And it's this ability to backtrack and go and make adjustments to your path that make it such a valuable tool for making selections, because with all the other selection tools, once you've made your selection, it's done. You can't go and adjust your lasso. You can't adjust these things without making a new selection. So the beauty of the pen tool is that I have full control of this path before I turn it into a selection. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got the hang of it like I do here, it's a really nice tool, and you'll find yourself using it all the time for any selection that the smart selection tools in Photoshop can't handle on their own. Also, when I'm doing almost any kind of like professional composite that I'm doing for a client, I usually end up doing most of the intricate selections by hand, even with all the tools that Photoshop now provides, just because I have full control and nothing is left to chance. Now, having said all that, the tools in Photoshop for AI based selections like the quick select and select and mask, select subject. They're all getting much, much better than they used to be. And I find myself using those far more often. A few years ago, virtually every selection I made, I did with this method. And yeah, you do that enough times and you get really fast at it. But it is still my favorite method of selection because of the amount of control I have. Usually I would fast forward through this, but quite a lot of people have asked me to not do that so that they can take a closer look. All right, here's another trick. If I have a handle like this and I want to adjust this curve, but I don't want this curve to be adjusted, I can hold down Option and Command and break this handle free from the other one. So now you can see this handle is independent of the other one. And that looks good. All right, so now I can do A for the path selection tool, right mouse click. I can actually create a vector mask of that. That looks quite nice. The other thing I want to do is I want to select this shadow on the ground. So I'm going to make another copy of this background. And for this, I'm just going to use the lasso because it doesn't have to be super accurate. I just want to make sure I have the shadow selected and some of this outside white patch on the ground. We're going to do Command J, make that its own layer, and we can call this ground shadow. All right, now we're ready to pull in our new background. So let's do File, Place Embedded, and we're going to select the JPEG called background. Let's go ahead and make that the size of our file here. And I think that looks pretty nice right about there. So let's hit OK. And then with our ground shadow, we can put this on multiply. Now you will see a subtle line there, and I can just do Command M and bring my white point to match where the information starts in the histogram. So right about there, you're going to see that kind of faint line disappears. And now we just see the shadow there, which is what I want. All right, next we're going to start bringing in some of our rays, light rays. So let's do File, Place Embedded, and let's just start with the top one. This one is going to be a bit of light coming in on the side over here, or some smoke, I should say. So right about there. Let's put this on the very top and put it on screen. And I'm going to adjust this curve, so Command M. I want to bring up the lights and then just bring down the curve on the bottom a bit. I also want to make this ground darker here. I kind of want to make the whole background a bit darker. So I'm going to select the background, do Command M for curve, and just bring down that curve. Let's say to right about there. Let's hit OK. And I also need to adjust the black point on this car because you can see the background has a darker black point. So let's go ahead and add a curve on top of this, and I'm going to clip it to this layer and then just pull our blacks down until those wheels match the ground. So right about there. Good. All right, next, let's go to File, Place Embedded. And we're going to grab Nuclei Atmosphere 50. And this is just going to be some light coming in from the ceiling here. Like so. Let's put this on screen. So we can imagine there's one more of these skylights right above here, and that's going to be kind of the source of our light. So let's do File, Place Embedded, and let's grab Nuclei God Ray 19. This is going to be our primary light coming in like so. So let's put this on screen, and I kind of want to match the angle of this window. So something like that. We're going to make it look like it's shining down right about there. Maybe a little bigger too. So about there. Is it okay? All right, next let's do File, Place Embedded again. And I'm going to grab Nuclei God Ray 17. We're going to do the same thing, but this is going to look like it's the light from this window here. So let's place it. Right about there. And let's put this on screen. And I want to adjust the curve so that we're not getting the spill off. Let's do Command M. Just bring down the black, maybe bring down the whole curve just a little bit. And then I'm going to take the opacity down to probably around 50%, and then add a mask. And with a large black soft brush, I'm going to mask out the hard edges here so that we don't have those. Just like that. Good. And I'm going to make a copy of this layer so I can just drag this down to my new layer. And I'm going to move this to this window here. So we get, and what I might want to do just to make this one look a little more different is flip it horizontal. And that's going to make it look like it's not exactly the same as the one we used previously. And I think that looks good. And let's take the opacity down on that one a little bit as well. All right, next, let's do File, Place Embedded again. So now we have our rays in place, and what I want to do is add some dust. So I want the dust to be up here. So let's put this on screen and just take the opacity way down. So there's just a hint of them. So probably around 35. And then let's do File, Place Embedded again. I'm going to grab Dust 03. And this one is going to just come from this light up here. Let's put that on screen. Let's take the opacity down. And let's do File, Place Embedded again. And the next thing I want to do is place these birds. So let's take the first one, Dove 9. And I want to make this one bigger. Flip it horizontal. Let's see, where's going to be the best place? Okay, let's flip it horizontal back to how it was. Let's make this one right about there. So this one's kind of flying on the other side of our car here. So right about there looks good. And I would like it a little bit darker behind this bird. So I might just go to my mask of the two light rays, make my brush bigger, and just kind of paint out where those light rays go behind the bird there like that. All right, let's place Embedded again. Take Dove number 10. This one I want to put right up here. Make him a little smaller. All right, then File, Place Embedded again. We'll grab number 15. And this one, I'm going to make a foreground bird. So I'm going to put this guy right about here. It's kind of just flying into frame. And to make it look closer to us, I'm going to add a blur to it. So it looks like it's out of focus. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. So maybe around 10 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll place our last one, just 16. And this one will be right about here. And I think these lights back here are distracting. So I'm going to go to my background here and let's isolate it if I hold down the Option or Alt key and click on it. So yeah, I want to paint out this area here. So let's go ahead and get a brush. Now you'll notice that I can't brush on this, and that's because it's rasterized. So I'm going to go ahead and, or sorry, because it's a smart object, I can't paint on it. So if I rasterize the layer, I can now paint on it. So I'm just going to select this surrounding color and paint in these highlights here. Just like that, and then Option, click on the eyeball again. So there you go. Now our little bird there is a little more obvious. And let's make him just a tiny bit bigger like that. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I want the light to mainly be hitting this part of the car, so I would want this lower part of the car to be a little darker. So let's go here, and I'm going to add another curve. And I'm going to make this one significantly darker. And you also notice that this has kind of a tinge of magenta. So I'm going to go to the red layer and just pull that out a little bit. And then maybe go to my blue as well and just add a little more yellow. So it looks more like it belongs in this environment. And that looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to fill in this entire mask with black and then use a gradient of white, a linear gradient of white, and just kind of go up from here and go up from the bottom of the car. So again, I'm just focusing the shadow on this area so that where the light's coming down, you do see that nice light. So that looks pretty nice. All right, next, where the light is coming down, the ground itself should be a bit brighter. So what I'm going to do is just go on an elliptical tool here. And just going to make a kind of wide selection like this. And then hit Q to go to my quick mask, and then I can actually blur my selection here. It's a nice way of creating a feathered selection. Just like that. Hit Q again, and now my selection is feathered. And I can add a curve here. Just push this up. Now there's not a lot of information here, but hopefully this will still work. And I think that looks pretty good. And we might also want to just add a little one back here as well, where this kind of backlight is hitting. So let's make another elliptical, hit Q again, blur that. I don't want to blur it quite as much. So we'll probably blur it there, and then hit Q again and make sure we're on the mask and then fill that with white. So to fill with your foreground color, it's Option Delete. That's a little too strong, so I can just go on a big soft brush, make sure it's black, and then just kind of paint a little bit of black back on there. So there's still that highlight there, but it's not as strong. All right, so now we have all those in place. I think I want to adjust the opacity of some of these so they're not quite as strong. Like I don't want this one to be so strong. And this one, probably take down just a little bit as well. Now some of these, like for example, this one has this strong white cloud there. And if I take the opacity down, you get this kind of gray look. So rather than taking the opacity down on this, I'm actually going to add a curve and just bring the curve down. And that'll darken everything. But because my white point is staying unchanged, the white of the cloud won't actually change color. And now you can see our shadow, our dust is definitely too strong. So let's take that down as well. And that looks pretty good. All right, let's throw away this curve that we don't need anymore. All right, next thing we're gonna do is color grade the image. Before I do a color grade, I kind of want to assess, similar to what we did with the car, just make sure everything looks relatively right in terms of color. Like for example, this bird just looks way too bright. So rather than trying to color grade on top of that, I'm going to add a curve directly on the bird and just make this darker. Now, these other birds are directly in the light, so I don't think those are really as problematic as this one. So we can leave those. I think that's really about it. The rest should look good with our color grade on top. So I'm going to add a gradient map, and this allows me to affect my shadows and highlights. And let's put this on soft light. Already everything feels more like it belongs together. And then I'm going to reinforce that with a curve layer here and go into the red, just pull that down a little bit so we get more of a cyan feel. Bring up the top. And then with the blue, I'm going to bring up the bottom, bring down the top. And now I think we can also make these just a touch stronger. And maybe this one as well. On this one, I think what we can do is rather than making the whole thing, adjusting the opacity, I can add a curve to it. So I leave the highlights the same, but make the shadows, basically make the whole layer a little more contrasty, like that. And I'm pretty happy with that. The one other thing I want to do is just add some nice lights to the headlights here. So to do that, I'm going to go in here and let's go to our pen tool, which is P. And because I made an intricate selection of this, I'm going to go ahead and save that as car before I start making a new path. And the new path, I'm just going to select around these lights. And again, because this is a curve, the pen tool is definitely the best tool for selecting them. All right, let's go A for our path selection tool and do make selection. And do this 0.2, just kind of my default. Then I'm going to add a curve layer. I'm just going to pump up these lights, make them brighter. Try not to affect the bottom of the curve here. That looks good. All right, then we're going to go File, Place Embedded, and we're going to pull in this Flare 11. And let's put this on screen. And move that in place. And I want that to be more blue, so I'm going to do Command M for a curve. Just go to my red, pull that down, and then pull up the blue. And I don't want these sharp lines, so I'm going to blur this just a little bit. Looks like around 4 pixels, good. All right, and then hold down Option, copy this over to the other light. And then we have this little light here, which I'm also going to add a little flare to. So let's go Place Embedded. See another flare here, Flare 45. We're going to add the same Gaussian blur to that. And with a curve, we're going to make this a little more red. So red and green. Let's put this on screen. And just place this here. And let's make it smaller. Just like that. All right, and then finally, I want to add a little bit of a sharpness layer on top of everything. Before I do that, the darkness in this bird here is a little too much. So let's go to that bird, which is Dove 15 here, and just adjust this curve a little bit. Just going to bring up the bottom. Just like that. Good. And on the car, I want to adjust this curve just a tiny bit as well. And on this mask, I want to, this is all just kind of fine tuning work, but I want to add just a tiny bit of feather so it's not so sharp. And 0.9 will do it. Okay, with all that done, I can now add at the very top a new layer. We'll call this Sharpness. We can do Shift Option Command E to merge all of our layers into one, and then do Filter, Other, High Pass. 2.5 should be good. Let's put this on Linear Light. And there you can see the before and after. It just gives everything a little nice crispiness. And there you have it. So here we have our before and our after.